Hello, everybody. This is Paul Herman, the Prince of Motivation and host of Zaka Presents My Journey. We're creating this vulnerable and positive platform where you can get inspired and motivated from different leaders from our community. Today, our guest is professional actor, Pierre. Jeff, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here. And this one is special to me, man, because I mean, Greg, that's like my brother. And he's been working on this for a while. I've been hearing about it. I've been reading. I've been seeing the posts. I've been like, this guy he's a monster right now, man. So,
yes. Well, thank you for joining us on this with the Zaka family. I want to let the listeners know that currently you can watch Jeff, playing the character Trey Bennett on the Walker series on CW Network, right, Jeff?
My man, Trey Barnett, to be precise. But
Trey Barnett. Trey Barnett, okay.
You got it, though. No, you got it. It's definitely on CW series. And a lot of people may not know, but we just also dropped on HBO Max. That just happened in the past few weeks. So you could stream the whole first season on HBO Max. And we're currently filming the second season right now.
Okay. Putting in work. I know I remember when I was younger, that was like always the big thing. I used to tell my parents, like, Mom, I'm gonna be on TV soon, one of these days. So I know you probably like, all your family members, you could easily, tell them, back in the days, you'd be like, you know what, you got to turn to channel like 79, some wild number on the TV, exactly, just to come see you, right? But this is on some like, check me on HBO, right? Check me right on Netflix. Check me on Amazon Prime. So shout out to you for making it to that platform right there. I definitely want to know a lot more, and I know the listeners want to know a lot about that stuff. And we're going to talk more about your history and where you come from, and your background. I just want to take a moment, to kind of talk to you a little bit more, and then obviously let our listeners know that one of the key things here at Zaka, our platform, what we want to do is kind of change the stigma on what, the immigrant community. I want to obviously extend my prayers, my condolences, to the Haitian community, what's going on between the borders of Texas and Mexico. I know there's a lot of things going on, and it's obviously negative stuff being put within the media. And I know obviously the Haitian community is being looked at and maybe in a negative way. So I'm just kind of letting everyone know our condolences, and everyone is obviously with you, your family, and close friends out there in that community as well.
Thank you for that, man. Thank you for real. That means a lot.
I know it's obviously as immigrants, or first generation, second generation, we, immigrants and first generation individuals, they sometimes already have a bad stigma. People saying, oh, they're coming here, they're taking our jobs. I mean, this goes back from like way back in the days, histories and stuff like that. Now to see it on the way it's being done now, and obviously to the younger youth, seeing it like that, this is when people kind of separate themselves from the culture and say, I don't want to be affiliated with that. No, I'm American, and I'm not Haitian. I'm not Jamaican. I'm not St. Lucian, because they don't want to be affiliated with something along those lines. So, talk to us a little bit more about that. I believe your mother is Haitian as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How are you guys dealing with this situation?
Just to start, 100% Haitian, man. Both sides of the family, mom and dad. And it's, to be honest, it's something that I've been proud of ever since I was a kid, and I am to this day. And not that we've been in the best of light ever. This is something that's been ongoing ever since I was a kid. Like my family, my mom, they were always hesitant to even allow me to take a trip to go to the motherland, to go to my home country, to go to Haiti. They were just always hesitant because there's always something going on. There's, whether it's a coup or people being kidnapped, raped, whatever. There's just always a bad stigma around it. But for some reason, growing up, it's my heritage, it's my culture. So I've always been surrounded by love. I have no other outlook on it but positivity. But like you said, right now we're going through a lot, and we're heavily in the media. And funny enough, I'm in Texas while all this insanity is going on. I'm seeing the images, and it's looking like the 1800s, man. Like there's nothing's changed. So it cuts deep. It hurts because those are my people. But I'm definitely not going to be one to shy away from that and be like, oh yeah, I'm American. I'm not Haitian. That's something that I voice. I voice about a lot. Like no matter what stage I'm on, I'm always gonna proudly, you know, put my hand up and let them know. I'm like, yeah, I'm Jeff Pierre. I'm Haitian. It's the last name, you know, alone.
Pierre.
Who are you French? I'm like, no, I'm Haitian. You know, we got independence from France. But
Yes.
I really want to preach to the younger generation, or whoever it is, man. You got to be proud at all times. I mean, we're going through tough times right now, but
and
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say you are hitting on something right there. Like you mentioned the key thing, the youth. You know, especially with the way the world is today. Like obviously, social media is a very big thing.
Right.
You know, this could where people get the wrong information. You know, and this is where people start to detach themselves, not just from reality, but from that culture. And where and being proud of like the heritage and the legacy of that culture. I know there's obviously, various different days or weeks throughout the year where, people get to celebrate that stuff. But, when you're a part of a legacy like the Haitian community, some strong traditions, you can't let those things go to, push them to the side when things like this happen. This is when you got to stand up, and kind of, have a voice in that community. So you've been doing it through acting and making some significant headway with that, but kind of give us a little bit of understanding of your educational background. I believe you went to school for like law, like how we go from law to like on TV shows.
Yeah, that's the question I get asked the most, man. It's funny. But yeah, I went to school for law. I went for criminal justice, to be exact. And the plan was to go to law school after I graduated. But my third year of college, man, I took a theater elective, and I fell in love. It was just a theater 101 class. It was a free, fun class to take, and professor loved me, and I started reading plays, and I did this one play called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which actually, God rest his soul, Chadwick just put on an amazing performance over a year ago, and that's on Netflix. You can see that. But that was one of the first plays I ever read, and I fell in love with it. And from there, I was like, man, I'm so far along in my major. What could I do? I still gotta, continue forward with this, which I did. But I ended up taking a minor in theater and did a few more plays and read about it. And I got a chance to do an internship at a law firm in New York for about 6 months. And while I was there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this during the day. But on my off time, I started taking improv classes, different theater classes, just getting more into the arts, man, and getting more involved with that. And that was kind of a thing that I kept, to myself, and I held very close because I'm like, talking to an immigrant, a family like that, like family coming from, coming from a different country, they're just like, oh, you're a lawyer, doctor, engineer. That's
right.
That's what they preach. So if you start talking about being an artist of any kind, actor, musician, whatever it may be, they're gonna be like, what? How do you get a 401k in that? How do you get like where's the stability in that?
You hit it right on the money right there.
I just know that was going to be a tough thing. But once I graduated, man, I knew I was going to make the move to LA because I've already been in New York. I grew up in Boston in the East Coast area. So I just wanted a big change of scenery. And I did my due diligence, and I found out that casting wise, like TV, movies, LA is more of the mecca, where New York is a bit more, theater based, and there's certain shows. But I just knew that I probably had a better shot in LA. Plus, it's the beach, it's the palm trees, it's True. Right from the snow. So
now you see key things right there. You were trying to relate back to Haiti right there. That's what you were trying to do. You were like, forget this East Coast stuff where they got blizzards. I'm out here trying to just be near the palm trees. And when in this conversation, when you just mentioned about how like the immigrant families are always like doctor, lawyer, and engineer. It's funny how like I've been in several conversations and obviously several different interviews on the Zaka platform with a lot of the individuals we've been interviewing, and anyone coming from that Caribbean background, those three things come up the most. It's funny how our Caribbean culture relates to success with engineering, being a doctor, or being a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else comes up. You know what I'm saying? So you were breaking the stigma. And I know that was very hard at that time. You know what I'm saying? Just going to your family members and being like, no, I want to be an actor. You know, I want to pursue that. Obviously, it's a part of your culture. The Haitian community always has music and arts as it's already rooted in your blood, you know, but it's somewhat as you become more Americanized, you kind of pull away from that. So how did it feel, you know, breaking the news to like your family members, like your mom, you know, saying, Mom, I want to get into this acting career?
Yeah, that was tough, man. It was real a real big hurdle to get over because it- not that they were against me. It's just that clearly they care about me. So me moving to LA, like completely opposite side of the country for the first time, I'll technically be on my own and new environment. And wait, you're not gonna take on a secure job. You're gonna go to be an actor. So everybody was against it at first, man. It was definitely tough breaking the news to them, but I wanted to change the stigma, just like we were talking about. I wanted to just change, like their point of view. So I was like, I'm gonna make this happen. And those first couple of years, it was tough, struggling actor. Like I'm blessed where I'm at right now, but I definitely don't forget where I came from and the work that it took to get here. I'm appreciative of it as well too. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as overnight success. So it took time and it makes me appreciate it even more. So me talking to my family, man, those first couple of years, it was always like, hey, you can always come back. You can always come back. Law school's still there. And that was a drive for me. It was a motivation. Every time they said that, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I think I'm very thankful that people like Will Smith, it's right around the time I moved there. One of the interviews that he had, he was saying something along the lines, I'm just paraphrasing, but when you have a plan A, there is no need for a plan B. If you put everything 150% into getting plan A to work, there is no such thing or need for a plan B. Mm-hmm. And that thing was just a mantra for me every single day that I woke up, and every audition I went to, or every job that I was hustling, like, waiting tables, bartending, whatever it may be, to support myself until, mm-hmm. I got to a position where I could do it with the craft. And like I said, my mom, she was tough at first, but she also became my biggest supporter. Like I brought her on several sets with me. And this woman's taking pictures with different directors and people she doesn't even know. She don't even know if this person's an actor or actress. He's from Grip. He's lighting, crew members. I'm like, it's all love. They're all part of the process. But she just wanted to be in the limelight with it all. So I was very happy that she got to experience that, and that's when her outlook started to change, man. She's my biggest supporter.
They want to see you successful, and more obviously they want to see you happy. But success comes with a price, and obviously as artists, you're a starving artist, or in the beginning, and even in the middle, or even at the end of your journey, you could still be a starving artist. Yeah. And I know that it's hard for you to find someone to kind of be like, Mom, but I have a friend, or this is our uncle or a family member who's done it before, so it works. The system works. So it's like a shot in the dark, trying to figure it out. And, but I know that obviously your legacy that you're creating right now comes from, something. And we're talking about your mom right now. And were there certain qualities that you learned as a child growing up that your mother's kind of instilled in you to kind of get you to where you are right now, that you kind of still use currently within your profession?
Oh man, I love that, because 1000%. I credit her every single day to for being the man that I am today. Oh, that's all her 100%. And just to let everybody know, she was a single mom, so everything was really her. Not just her, because I had my uncles, my aunts, like my family members, but as a parent, she did it all on her own. And like, talent aside, whatever it may be, I think I definitely, my skill is people. I love to talk to people, and in this business, that's essentially what you're doing. Now, not just acting. Like obviously, I got to perform and learn the craft, but a lot of people don't necessarily like auditions or going into the audition. Now we have what's called a self-tape, so you can put yourself on tape from home. So you get to avoid all that nervousness of being in the room, seeing the other actors, meeting the casting director, all those things. And it's cool, but I do prefer being in the room. I I believe that I've gotten to the point, in my position right now, I got there off of a little bit of that, a little bit of charm, a little bit of socializing. When I meet these people, man, I'll have conversations with them. I'm not just here to be like, okay, I'm here to perform. Sometimes that's what they want, but if I can tell that, oh, okay, I can talk to you, I'll do that. And again, that's my mother. She instilled that in me because it's in the Haitian culture. I mean, when you meet people, you shake their hands, you embrace them. You don't just wave and say hi. That's a big no-no. I would get punished for that. You know what I'm saying? And when I have my friends come over and they don't necessarily have the same culture, they're American or whatever it may be, my mom will be quick to tell me, hey, oh, no, come here and hug me or kiss me or whatever. So it's just that same energy. I'm not going up to everybody like, especially nowadays, hugging.
Oh yeah, we got to pause on that.
Yeah, you got to pause 6 feet. But I will still come at you with that same energy as if I was going to shake your hand. You know what I mean?
True.
So
true.
That by far is big, and all that is instilled by my mom. My charm, my kindness, just the way I am as a man, and as a husband, father. I did not have a father figure to show me how to do those things, but my mom, she really did it.
Well, shout out to your mom. I know it is very hard, and shout out to all the single mothers right now listening right now. Like, you guys get an award every single day. I know Mother's Day comes once a year, but Mother's Day for you guys is every day, right? So shout out to that. I know that those things have helped you in your acting career. Obviously got you through college and pushing through with that. But when did you truly know that you were a good actor? Because as you could be a part of you can have a talent inside of you and nurture it over a matter of a couple of weeks, months, years, but you never really know when when it hits you, you're like, wait, hold up. Like, I actually sound pretty good. When I could actually dribble a basketball. Right, wait, hold up. I could actually run real fast. So when did you realize that this was going to be it?
That was tough because I know a lot of actors, man, right now, like that are friends, colleagues, or some of them are just people that I know and I've heard stories about. As an actor, it's very tough to have that moment because to this day, I get nervous on camera. Like, before I'm supposed to prepare or anything, like even working this job, as comfortable as I am, I still get nervous. And I'm like, man, am I right for this? Do I got it? There's always a little bit of that doubt, but I think that's part of the craft, man. Like, there's a fine line between like cockiness and confidence. So I definitely have the confidence, but I definitely will never shed on the side of cockiness. But when I first really, really believed in myself, when I was like, oh no, I got this, I think it's when I landed my managers. And my managers, I've been with them since day one. I've switched agencies. My agent right now is amazing. It's my guy. But my manager, man, they some pit bulls. And I knew this when I first got into the office to meet with them the first time, because I think it was three different meetings or something like that. But the first time I met them, I'm like, this is my first experience with like agents and managers, and I'm in the waiting room and I hear them like, hey, listen, no. This is the deal that I want for him. If you're not gonna pay up, boom. She hung up. The other one is on the other end, and he's like real calm and smooth. He's like, listen, he just did a series for about 15 years. And if you're not gonna pay, hey, I guess he's gonna have to pass. Real cool and suave, just playing it. And I was like, man, these guys are the ones that I want on my squad. I already made up my mind in the waiting room. But then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, am I even ready for them? So I meet with them, and then they actually give me a sides, which are basically, a scene or your script that you read and you prepare. And they were like, come back to us. We're going to have you come back in a week, but just prepare this. And, we want to see what you can do. They've already seen like the resume or whatever classes that I took, but they're like, let's see if you can actually act. And I'm like, oh, okay. I did my preparation for it and everything, came back a week later. And these guys are tough. Like, I know they are. I've heard their reputation, so they're not easy. And once I did that performance for them, it's not like they were wild or like, oh my God, you're it, you're the next thing. They were real cool with it. They're like, oh, okay. All right, yeah. I said, yeah, you're good. And me, I was just like, yo, I think I just killed that. I feel really strong about that. That was the first time really it worked because I landed them. They were like, yeah, we're going to work with you.
And how long you been with them?
I've been with them 9 years.
9 years. Okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, man.
And when you
Untitled Entertainment.
look at that. We got to plug them in. Plug them in. Let's go.
You know what I mean?
Now, when you started off, obviously, as an actor, anyone who's in the performing arts, you know, one of the hardest things is like we live check to check.
Yeah.
You know, it is a constant struggle. You know, we're waiting for someone. We're like the last. We're the talent that's getting. We're the last ones to get paid. If that's the case, right? So what were you doing in that time period? Like, how were you paying your bills? How were you finding a way to survive? I know like there are some serious stories, horror stories, sad stories, you know, that I have heard, I've obviously witnessed, you know, and even myself as an artist myself, you know, I have those moments as well. But like, what did you do to kind of pull up?
I did. When I first started out, I was doing men's shoes for Nordstrom. I was working there at men's shoes. Then I also noticed that clearly there's more money in women's shoes. So I transferred over there, transferred over to women's shoes. And again, I did sales because before I moved to LA, when I was in Boston in college, you know, going to law school, doing that whole thing, I was doing mobiles, selling cell phones. I did T-Mobile, AT&T, and again, I flourished in there because I was a people person. And me not even knowing it, this is before I think I even took a theater class. You're essentially acting. There's basically a script. It's a mental script that you make up for yourself. So I'm able to utilize that same script when I talk to different customers according to what they want, according to what I guess would be called a given circumstance, which is a thing that is utilized in the arts. And I was doing that the whole time. And then the transition when I started selling shoes, and you know, Nordstrom is a little bit more bougie, so I got a certain clientele. It was definitely a step up from selling cell phones, and that was my first start. But the thing is, the scheduling was a little bit too demanding, so I wasn't able to move in and out like I would if I was doing a night job. So I transitioned from there into restaurants and hotels, the thing that I really never wanted to do. And I've always heard the horror stories of actors, you know, they end up staying there because the money's really good depending on where you're working. And I met those people that were like a good 40, 50 plus. And they were like, oh man, I remember when I was doing the same thing, going on auditions and everything. And that meeting those people, they were great. They were amazing people. Some of them are still friends, but they kept me focused. Because when I was at the job, I knew that this wasn't my number one. I was willing to get fired or lose my restaurant or bartending gig for an audition, 1000%. Whereas I remember I would speak to my manager sometimes and he's like, dude, aren't you supposed to be at work? I'm like, bro, you just gave me an audition. I'm about to be on the Warner lot for like HBO. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? You think I'm a miss that for this? No, man. And I knew it was a chance that I was taking because this job at the restaurant is what's currently paying and supporting, you know, as far as the bills, but the opportunity outside was too big for me to pass that up. And like I said, seeing and meeting those people that were still there, that kept me focused. And I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna do what I got to do here and, you know, make this money for now. And me being a people person, somehow I was able to sway many of the managers that I've worked with. A lot of them are good friends, still are good friends. And they were like, oh, Jeff, man, come on, you coming in late again or this or that? I was like, yeah, but you know what it is, man. Listen, I just had this audition. I had a way of speaking with people where they're like, I should fire this guy, but I don't want to.
You was training. That's what you was doing.
Yeah.
You was in. That was acting school right there.
It really was. Because again, I'm dealing with people, like dealing with, you know, I never had people that gave me bad reviews or anything. And I dealt with customers that were, you know, clientele that was just that level of like, I mean, it was super bougie, man. I'm in LA. Yeah. I started working at Four Seasons. That was like the Mecca. And
yeah, I could only imagine. But I'm glad that you were able to move around to several different places. That's something I'm catching from your story. Being able to bounce around to various different jobs, you learn about different individuals, different clientele. You learn how to wear different hats, and especially as an actor, you got to know how to put on different hats. You know, you got to know when to be aggressive, when to be sad, and you got to know how to switch it. You know, but I know like in this acting game, I mean, obviously, as anyone in the arts, you're gonna hear several different no's before you hear that first yes. You know, that's something that they tell you right off the top. And that's probably why your family members are probably a little worried at first, because they're like, you know, how many no's is he gonna get before he gets the first yes? How did you like build yourself mentally to kind of, you know, to endure something like that? How did you develop like thick skin, you know, going through this process?
Man, great questions. You said several no's, man. I'm telling you, there could be hundreds of no's. And funny enough, I got to the point where I started to understand the game. I said, I love my managers because they were super hungry, just like I was, and they're super competitive. So they're putting me out there like crazy. I got a lot of opportunities that a lot of actors may not have gotten. Like I was going on, I don't know, countless auditions a week sometimes, especially if it's a busy season. And my reason for that is also because when I went into these offices, me not knowing at the time, I'm winning them over. So I may not get that part, but they're like, oh, he's good. But again, they're auditioning, I don't know how many people. You can only pick one. So you know how like lucky and, you know, all the stars usually have to align for that, because sometimes they'll pick a name, or which, you know, a celebrity or an actor of higher status or somebody that's already known. So that is going against me at the time. And then sometimes they might just, oh wait, I don't know, you're too tall, or you're too good looking, or muscular, all those things. I'm not saying that's me, but there's so many different scenarios that are involved in these audition processes and casting that it's completely out of my hand. What is in my control is my actual performance. Me going in there knowing that I'm doing my best work. And it took a while to finally get to that point where I understand. And I had to watch different videos, like Bryan Cranston. He had an amazing video where he explained that. He was like, go in there and have fun. The rest, that's up to them. You have no control over that. There's no way I'm ever going to be able to like, oh yeah, I'm getting this job because I'm doing this. That's impossible. I can go in there and be like, yo, I'm killing this audition. So you guys are going to like me. You're going to think of me for something else, if anything. And I did a lot of that. And I planted a lot of seeds out there in LA, like with different casting directors. And even this job right here, a quick little story, me getting Walker. A lot of it is because, you know, the performance I gave, and then what I was telling you before, my demeanor when I walk into the room, but also me being in that position. I was called back in because this was a casting director that was already like rooting for me, man, because I think maybe a couple of years prior, there was a big job for another network, and it was a show that I was up for. It was down to me and literally three other guys. And we tested. And when you're in that testing phase, that means, oh, okay, you're signing a contract. I'm looking at the zeros like, wait, this is what I'm making? Woo! So it's like you're at that point. Once I got there, I'm like, oh, the job is mine. And again, there's still two other people that they're looking at. So I got that far, met with the lead actress, and we, you know, had a chemistry read together and everything, and didn't get the job. I was disappointed. I thought I was done. Even my wife right now, at the time, she was my girl. She was like, yo, she was my rock. She was like, no, you can't give up. For some foolish reason, I was already thinking like, maybe I need to just give up, go back to the restaurant life, and I don't know, do AT&T or shoes or something. She was like, are you out of your mind? This was only a couple of years ago, man. I'm telling you, it was crazy, but I was devastated because I was so close, and it was a very big role. But, you know, that casting director brought me right back again for something else, maybe a few months later. And I could tell that she was championing me. And that's why I have this job right now, because she did it again. She brought me back in for this. And I'm telling you, man, it takes time to build up that thick skin. But once you realize what the process is, it's like, oh, I'm making fans. These casting directors do like me, but sometimes it's out of their control. They're not the ones picking me for this. There's so many different executives and producers, this and that are in the mix. So I'm never gonna know.
You can't take it personal.
Yeah, I can't. Exactly. But I know that I'm doing my job because they're bringing it back. When they bring it back multiple times, then you know you're doing something right.
They must see something in you. And obviously like your presence is definitely has grabbed their attention, and that's why they're kind of like, you know what, I don't know if this is the role for him, but let's bring him back. I think this role might fit him, but if it doesn't, I want him to be in the room because someone else is coming. I want them to meet, and it's just like they're honestly connecting some dots that we just sometimes just don't know what those dots are for us. We're just like, we just hear the no and the yes, but we don't know how many steps they took to before they got to the no. It could have probably been like, conversations back and forth behind closed doors saying like, we really like him, but he's not the height that we need. And it could have been something like that. But and sometimes we're not privileged enough to know those kind of things. I wish that like in every audition they could tell you like, hey, you didn't make it because we didn't like your shirt. Hey, you didn't make it and catch that last step.
Yeah.
You just have to have faith and just, kind of push through. Now, I know that a lot of the roles you're going for, obviously you're going for an African-American male, sometimes it might be for Caribbean, it might be for whatever role you're playing. How do you, something I'm curious about, I know as a dancer, when I'm going for roles or dancing positions, whether it be on tour, traveling, you bump into the same people, on a regular basis. Like, how do you, as African-American males, like how are you guys not making it, doesn't come across as a competition? Like, how do you seem like do you feel like there's camaraderie? Like, obviously our spots, there's limited amount of roles for Black males, in a sense, if that was the case. How are you guys making it through with that?
You were hitting it with these questions. It's because it's like all the stuff like we've talked about, like me and other actors and friends, whatever it may be. But this one in particular, it's interesting. There is no competition, to be honest. I mean, at least with me and a lot of the actors that I see, like the usual suspects. That's what I'll call them. Which a lot of them are close friends. Some of them are just hey, yo, what's up, my man? How you doing? We dap each other up. And, we just know each other from auditions, but it's always love. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's the ones that, kind of keep to themselves too, of course. But for the most part, I don't see that in the African-American community. And as far as like auditions and going up for roles, like we try to like push each other, man, if anything, because there's so much out there. Like we can all eat, to be honest. There's so much. So I think that's part of it. And if I'm not getting this part, I want to see my guy get it. That's kind of like the kind of like the mantra between me and my friend is just like, yo, I want to see you up there. I want to see you on the screen if I don't get this part. And it's genuine because I'm like, why would I want to see somebody that I don't know getting the part? If it's not me, it better be somebody that I do know. And I've had various encounters with some of my friends where we've gone up for the same role, and it came down to just me and them. Like that just happened before I got this job, right before I got this one. Brilliant actor. I won't even mention names, but he's a beast, man. And I was honored because I know how much work he's been putting in, and he kind of started before me, and I've always looked up to him. And I was like, yo, it's down to me and him. I was like, this is crazy. That's like, I've been watching this dude like blow up for some time now. And like I said, came very close. They literally had me come back several times and they did the same thing with him. But it went his way. And I loved it because, again, it was down to me and my friend. Like, I know this guy. And I've seen him. I've seen him almost like, not necessarily a mentor, but I've looked up to him. You know what I mean? So the fact that he got the role and I went against him is like, it's amazing. It's like Kobe going against MJ or something like that.
True.
MJ probably was schooling him, at the time, but I mean, like, yo, we went at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, because this is something that as a child, like growing up, you're like, wait, hold up. Like some of the people that you looked up to, and that's what I want to kind of get to right now. Like, who were some of the people you looked up to, coming up in the game? I know you mentioned Will Smith at one point, but like, who else did you look up to that kind of got you like on that right path to where you're going right now?
Will, definitely anybody that knows me, man, like Will Smith is just like not even just as an actor, as a human being, man. That's the kind of person I try to model myself after. Like, I just love that dude, man. His energy and his whole vibe. Like, but again, as an actor, like he's like a beast. Like, he was killing the box offices back in the day, man. Like, I love everything that he does. But him, Denzel, like Hurricane, like, I mean, everybody will talk about like Training Day. I love that as well. But for me, Hurricane was the one, man. And this is way before I even got into, acting, but I watched Hurricane and that actually brought me to tears. And, movies never really did that for me. I'm not saying that I didn't feel some type of emotion, but that was the first time a film actually brought me to tears. And I've always loved Denzel. I love all of his previous work. But that one, I was like, yo, this guy right here, he got me. And I'm like, that's what I want to be able to do for my audience. I want to bring some type of emotion, whether it's, happiness, sadness, tears, laughter, or anger, whatever it may be. I want to move people, you know what I'm saying? I want them to be able to watch me and not necessarily just relate, but have an experience. And that's what that dude did. I was like, this is crazy. So definitely
got some people right there.
Yeah, Leo, like, oh man, love everything Leonardo DiCaprio does. That dude is always outside the box. Viola Davis, Meryl Streep, Angela Bassett. Like, I got a chance to meet Angela Bassett.
Classic.
Like,
classic.
I met her, like, and she went in for a hug. I'm thinking like, oh, hey, Miss Bassett, I'm about to shake your hand, and she just hugged me.
She embraced you with that Haitian community's love. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly. There you go.
She came in for that Haitian love. She like, hold up.
Yeah.
We gotta do it the Haitian way. Nah, that's what's up. Like, could you tell us a little bit more about the show Ranger? What's that looking like?
Walker.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. A lot of people like Walker, Texas Ranger, Walker. Like, I mean, because it's building off of the legacy, I would say, of Walker, Texas Ranger with Chuck Norris back in the day, but has nothing to really do with it. It is a completely different, rendition, and I think our show revolves more around the relationships and the characters, and we still got action too. There's a lot of action up in there, but I think our show does a very good job of incorporating romance, comedy, action, drama, pretty much checking off everything off the list. But it's Thursday nights at 8 p.m. And actually, we will be airing the second season October 28th. Will be the premiere for season 2.
Let's get it.
The show revolves around Jerry Padalecki's character is called Walker. He's Walker, and he's a lawman, obviously. But the thing is, man, he's also a family man, and I think he's constantly trying to balance the two, work life and home life, which a lot of people are. So a lot of people can relate to that. And he has a very demanding job, and his partner is Mickey Ramirez, played by Lindsay Morgan, who amazing actress, and she is the first female Mexican ranger. So that's a whole ordeal. So we're touching on a little bit of race in there as well. And my character is Trey Barnett, and he plays her boyfriend who comes back from the military and just got off deployment. And me and her have kind of had this ongoing fling for a good 8 years now, but I'm ready for a different type of life. I'm done with the military, and I want something stable. I actually love this girl. Like, Trey, my character, is passionately in love with her, and he knows that she's the one. But at the same time, she is on a new endeavor right now. She's focused on becoming she is a ranger, but she's had to deal with a lot. She's a very, attractive girl, and going into the law enforcement, the military, things like that. So she can be underestimated at times. So she's trying to do everything in her power not to get distracted by me and her trying to build this life together. So that's a work-life balance for her. And I'm trying to make that happen, but at the same time, for my character, I'm trying to figure out what do I want in life as my career. So I'm trying to find myself as well too. So
there's a lot of things. It seems like there's a lot of layers to it, which obviously does make a show very make a show interesting to watch. One of my last questions I want to kind of pose to you is like, I know you got the acting thing, you obviously the family thing, working man. What do you do for fun? Like besides the acting, besides, I mean, obviously hanging with the family is always a good thing as well too. But like, what do you do on your own personal time to kind of like relax?
It's tough nowadays, man. I got the 2 kids. I got one on the way. So I'm not gonna relaxing. I don't get too much of that, but I enjoy for me, spending time with them is very enjoyable because I know these are very crucial years. I mean, I'm here for life, like that. That's the whole thing. But I know these are the early stages because my son is 9 months old, my daughter's 5, and I want to be present. I think being present is the most important thing for everything that they do. So I'm looking forward to when they're involved in activities more. But right now we do the park a lot. So
Good, yeah.
Big
Okay.
Seeing her run wild, the lake. Like Austin, Texas is really great for outdoors, man. And LA was the same. We did the beach when we were in LA. So now instead of the beach, we got the lakes and the parks and rivers, things like that. But
you seem like very relaxing things, you know what I'm saying? Because your life could be very, as an artist, you just like bang, 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 move, move, move.
Yeah.
So it's good to kind of just, be one with nature.
Exactly.
Kind of sit at a park bench and just let your kids be the ones to run around.
Most definitely.
You won't be like, I'm good.
Nature, for me, I have a big connection with it because when I prepare too, I mean, I do my preparation wherever I got to do it. But for some reason, I found over the years that I love being outside, whether it's at the park or the beach, whatever. For some reason, I dive into my character more, or I retain it a lot better when I'm in outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
You said, yeah, it's very relaxing.
Okay. Well, shout out to that. My last thing, in which I obviously want to kind of leave it off on this note, I just want to know, is there anything you want to kind of pass on to the listeners on this episode right here? And you said a lot of great things, things that, anyone could walk away with and be like, whether they want to be an actor or in the arts or just, just in general, just want to listen to this podcast. Is there anything you want to kind of leave listeners off with the Zaka community?
To all the listeners out there, man, what I would say to you is, it sounds cliche, but you got to follow your dreams, whatever it may be. I mean, it may be that you want to be an actor or you may want to be an astronaut. I don't really care what it is. It doesn't even necessarily have to be in the arts. It could be anything. But when you know that you have a passion for something, I think that's what you have to follow. And you can't compromise that for anybody. I don't care who it is. If it's your parents or your husband, wife, don't matter. You have to follow your gut. So whatever the passion is, go at it 100%, 110%, 150%. And it's all about obsession, perseverance, determination. Those are kind of 3 important words for me. Like I've noticed that's how I've gotten to where I am now because I had to be obsessed with it. There's no room for error. When you're obsessed with something, I mean, you're going to be attacking it every day, all hours of the day. Even if like I'm at work, it's on my mind. You know what I'm saying?
True.
You got to persevere over those humps, those roadblocks. And you got to be determined, man. You got to be determined at all times.
Okay. Well, Jeff, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for just, dedicating your time today. I know obviously you must be studying your roles and obviously you're a family man as well too. So just dedicating your time to be here with us and to share your information with the Zaka community, greatly appreciate it. If you want to hear more stories like Jeff, check us out on ZakaConnect.com or follow our feed Zaka wherever you listen to your podcast. Again, Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.